Welcome to Module 13. TOGAF ships with two reference models, ready-made, generic taxonomies that give architects a head start. They are the Technical Reference Model, the TRM, and the Integrated Information Infrastructure Reference Model, the 3RM. In TOGAF 10, these moved into the series guides and carry less exam weight than the ADM, so we'll keep this focused: what each one is, where it sits in the continuum, and how to tell them apart. That's exactly what the exam tests. Let's go. Here's the plan. You'll explain what a reference model is and why TOGAF provides two. You'll describe the technical reference model, its purpose, its structure, and its services. You'll describe the 3RM. You'll place each one in the architecture continuum. And you'll be able to tell the two apart cleanly. The single most important thing to lock in is this pairing: the TRM is a foundation architecture, and the 3RM is a common systems architecture. If you remember nothing else, remember that it's the crux of almost every exam question on this topic. Let's define the term. A reference model is an abstract framework of concepts and relationships within a problem domain. Its value is that it provides a common vocabulary and a starting taxonomy that architects can use to build their own specific architectures, rather than starting from a blank page. TOGAF provides two of them, the TRM and the 3RM. And as I mentioned, both now live in the TOGAF series guides, which means they carry less weight than the ADM and the core concepts. The key idea to hold is that reference models are generic, reusable starting taxonomies, and like everything in TOGAF, they're meant to be tailored. Let's put the two side by side, because this table is essentially the whole module in miniature. The TRM, the Technical Reference Model, sits at the foundation architecture position in the continuum, and it focuses on generic platform services. The 3RM, the Integrated Information Infrastructure Reference Model, sits at the common systems architecture position, and it focuses on boundaryless information flow. So the clean mental split is: TRM is foundation, the most generic, and it's about the platform. 3RM is common systems, one step more specific, and it's about application-level information flow. Burn that distinction in now, and the rest of the module just fills in detail. Let's start with the TRM. The Technical Reference Model provides a model and a taxonomy of generic platform services, essentially, a structured catalog of the kinds of services any technology platform provides. Its two design goals are portability, meaning applications can move between environments, and interoperability, meaning applications can work together. And as we established back in Module 8, the TRM is the canonical foundation architecture, the most generic point of the architecture continuum. So anchor two facts: the TRM's goals are portability and interoperability, and the TRM is a foundation architecture. Both are reliably testable. The TRM itself is made of two main components. The first is a taxonomy, which defines the terminology and provides a coherent description of the components and conceptual structure of an information system. The second is an associated TRM graphic, a visual model that represents the taxonomy in picture form. So the TRM is a taxonomy plus a graphic, the words and the picture, working together. It's a small but precise fact that the exam can ask about. If a question lists the components of the TRM, the answer is its taxonomy and its associated graphic. Two complementary pieces, one reference model. Let's look at the structure shown on screen, because it has a logic worth understanding. There are three core parts, stacked vertically, connected by two interfaces. At the top is the application software. Below it sits the application platform interface, the API. Beneath that is the application platform itself, which holds all the platform services. Below the platform is the communications infrastructure interface, the CII. And at the bottom is the communications infrastructure. So the order, top to bottom, is software, API, platform, CII, communications infrastructure. The exam-relevant detail to nail is the position of the two interfaces. The API sits above the platform, and the CII sits below it. The platform, sandwiched in the middle, is where the services live. The application platform provides a range of generic service categories. The TRM's taxonomy lists categories such as data interchange services, data management, graphics and imaging, international operations, location and directory, network services, operating system services, software engineering, transaction processing, user interface, security, and system and network management. You don't need to memorize every single one for the foundation exam, but you should recognize that these are generic platform services, the TRM's structured taxonomy of what any application platform provides. If a question describes a categorized list of generic platform services, that's the TRM's service taxonomy at work. There's a subtle but testable point about the TRM service qualities. Unlike the service categories we just listed, service qualities are not a single category sitting alongside the others. Instead, they apply across all of the platform services. Examples include availability, manageability, security, and performance. These are non-functional characteristics that cut across the entire platform rather than belonging to one service. So the trap to avoid is treating service qualities as just another service category. They're cross-cutting. Every service has qualities. If the exam asks whether service qualities are one category, the answer is no, they span all of them. Let's connect the TRM to its bigger purpose. Ultimately, the TRM aims at boundaryless information flow, the open group's overarching vision achieved through portability and interoperability. By providing a common platform taxonomy, it lets applications be built once and reused across many environments, instead of being rebuilt for each. And practically, within the ADM, the TRM serves as a starting point for the technology architecture in Phase D. So remember that link, the TRM seeds Phase D with a generic platform taxonomy. When you're developing your technology architecture, the TRM is the off-the-shelf taxonomy you start from and then tailor. Now the second model, the Integrated Information Infrastructure Reference Model, the 3RM. Its purpose is to address boundaryless information flow directly, enabling information to be shared seamlessly across the enterprise. It's classified as a common systems architecture, and it operates in the application domain. Its job is to help architects design an integrated information infrastructure, the application-level plumbing that lets information move freely. So where the TRM was about the technology platform, the 3RM is about information flow at the application and information level. Anchor the 3RM to that phrase, boundaryless information flow, at the application and information layer. Here's an important relationship the exam likes. The 3RM is derived from the TRM, specifically, it's a detailed expansion of the application software and application platform parts of the TRM. So they're not two unrelated models, the 3RM zooms into a portion of the TRM and develops it further. And this maps neatly onto the continuum. The TRM is generic, at the foundation level, while the 3RM is more specific, at the common systems level. So the relationship to remember is that the 3RM is a subset, or specialization, of the TRM, focused on the application software space. The TRM is the base, the 3RM elaborates part of it. Let's look at the 3RM's high-level components. There are three application categories. Business applications implement the specific business processes of a given enterprise. Infrastructure applications provide general-purpose business functionality, the common tools many businesses use. And the application platform provides the services that support those applications. Around these sit the interfaces, the qualities, and the network. So the three high-level components to remember are business applications, infrastructure applications, and the application platform. If a question asks for the main building blocks of the 3RM, those three are your answer. Business-specific apps, general-purpose apps, and the platform beneath them. Going a level deeper, the detailed 3RM identifies some key application types. There are information consumer applications, which use information. There are information provider applications, which supply it. And sitting between them are brokering applications, which mediate between the providers and the consumers, matching demand with supply. The model also includes development tools and management utilities. The one to single out for the exam is the brokering application. Its role is to mediate between information providers and information consumers, which is the very heart of enabling information to flow. Provider, broker, consumer, the triad captures the 3RM's information flow logic. Let's consolidate with a direct comparison, because telling these two apart is what the exam rewards. On the continuum, the TRM is foundation and the 3RM is common systems. In focus, the TRM is about generic platform services, while the 3RM is about information flow and the application infrastructure. In goal, the TRM aims at portability and interoperability, while the 3RM aims at boundaryless information flow. And in relationship, the TRM is the base, while the 3RM is derived from it. So the one-line summary is, the TRM is the generic base, and the 3RM specializes it for information flow. Keep those two columns distinct and these questions become easy. Let's reconnect to Module 8 and place both models on the continuum explicitly. The TRM is a foundation architecture, far left, the most generic. The 3RM is a common systems architecture, one step more specific, in the application domain. And both feed into the ADM. The TRM mainly informs Phase D, the technology architecture, while the 3RM mainly relates to Phase C, the application architecture. So you can tie three things together: TRM with foundation in Phase D, 3RM with common systems in Phase C. That mapping model, continuum position, and ADM phase is a tidy way to hold both models in one structure. Let's step back and ask why these models exist at all. They give architects a genuine head start, a ready-made vocabulary and taxonomy, so you're not reinventing basic structure every time. They promote consistency across architectures, and they directly support portability and interoperability. And, true to TOGAF's whole philosophy, they're tailored into organization-specific models through the ADM rather than used as is. So the framing to carry is that reference models are generic accelerators, you adopt them and then tailor them. They're scaffolding to build on, not finished buildings to move into. That tailoring mindset, by now, should feel familiar. It applies to everything in TOGAF. A practical word on exam strategy. In TOGAF 10, both the TRM and the 3RM were moved into the TOGAF series guides, and as a result they carry less weight than the ADM and the core concepts. That said, basic recall is still fair game. So be efficient here, focus on the names, the continuum positions, and the one-line purpose of each model. Don't pour hours into memorizing every platform service category. Know what each model is and where it sits, be able to tell them apart, and then move your energy back to the ADM, where the bulk of the marks genuinely live. Smart preparation means matching effort to weight. Let's clear the traps, which mostly come from swapping the two models. 1. The 3RM is a foundation architecture. No, the TRM is foundation, the 3RM is common systems. 2. The TRM is about information flow. No, the 3RM targets information flow, the TRM targets platform services. 3. The API sits below the platform. No, the API is above the platform, and the CII is below it. And 4. Service qualities are one service category. No, qualities are cross-cutting across all services. The two pairings to keep welded together are TRM Foundation Platform and 3RM Common Systems Information Flow. Get those right and the traps fall away. Your cheat sheet. TOGAF has two reference models, the TRM and the 3RM. The TRM's continuum position is foundation architecture, the 3RM's is common systems architecture. The TRM's goals are portability and interoperability, the 3RM's goal is boundaryless information flow. The TRM's components are a taxonomy plus a graphic. The TRM's interfaces are the API, above the platform, and the CII, below it. And the 3RM is derived from the TRM. Capture this, for a lower weight topic, it's everything you realistically need to answer the recall questions. Let's recap. TOGAF provides two reference models, generic, tailorable starting taxonomies. The TRM is a foundation architecture, a taxonomy of generic platform services aiming at portability and interoperability, made of a taxonomy plus a graphic, with the API above the platform and the CII below. The 3RM is a common systems architecture, derived from the TRM, enabling boundaryless information flow at the application and information level. The TRM seeds Phase D, the 3RM relates to Phase C. And both now sit in the series guides as lower weight topics, so know the basics and move on. A quick memory hook to keep the two straight. Think of the letters. TRM starts with T. For technology platform, it's the foundation model about portability. 3RM starts with I. For information flow, it's the common systems model derived from the TRM. T for technology in TRM, I for information in 3RM. And one more spatial hook for the TRM structure, API above, CII below the platform. Those two little associations, T versus I, and API above CII below, resolve the overwhelming majority of reference model questions the exam can pose. Simple, but effective under pressure. And with that, you've covered the entire framework, the ADM, the content framework, the continuum and repository, governance, stakeholders, and now the reference models. That's the whole syllabus. All that remains is to pull it together and prepare you for exam day. Module 14 does exactly that. It covers applying TOGAF in practice, and it gives you your final exam strategy, a revision and exam day playbook. So take a breath, the heavy learning is done. The last module is about consolidation and confidence. Let's finish strong. A quick self-check. From memory, can you state the continuum position of both the TRM and the 3RM? Can you give the TRM's two goals, portability and interoperability? Can you state the 3RM's purpose, boundaryless information flow? And can you say which interface sits above the application platform, the API? If the TRM versus 3RM distinction still feels even slightly slippery, go back and rewatch slide 15, the side-by-side comparison. For a lower weight topic, that one table is all you really need to carry into the exam. Question 1. Where does the TOGAF Technical Reference Model, TRM, sit in the architecture continuum? Pause to consider your answer. The correct answer is C, Foundation Architecture. The TRM is the canonical example of a foundation architecture, the most generic point of the architecture continuum, providing generic platform services on which more specific architectures are built. Question 2. What are the two stated design goals of the TRM? Pause to consider your answer. The correct answer is B, portability and interoperability. The TRM's design goals are portability of applications and interoperability between them, both in service of boundaryless information flow. A common platform taxonomy enables applications to be built once and reused across environments. Question 3. What is the primary purpose of the Integrated Information Infrastructure Reference Model, 3RM? Pause to consider your answer. The correct answer is B. To enable boundaryless information flow by integrating information across the enterprise. The 3RM addresses boundaryless information flow, helping design an integrated information infrastructure so information can be shared across the enterprise. It is a common systems architecture in the application domain, derived from the TRM. Question 4. Which statement correctly describes the relationship between the TRM and the 3RM? Pause to consider your answer. The correct answer is C. The 3RM is derived from the TRM, expanding the application software and platform space. The 3RM is derived from the TRM, providing a more detailed expansion of the application software and application platform parts of the TRM. The TRM is the generic foundation, the 3RM specializes part of it as a common systems architecture. Question 5. In the TRM's high-level structure, which interface sits between the application software and the application platform? Pause to consider your answer. The correct answer is B. The Application Platform Interface, API. The Application Platform Interface, API, sits above the application platform, between it and the application software. The Communications Infrastructure Interface, CII, sits below the platform, between it and the communications infrastructure.